Hello everyone, my name is Jesus. I am the operations manager here at HealthFit. I'm also the marketing director here at HealthFit. I want to start off by thanking you guys for joining us on this Saturday morning. I know you guys had a lot of other things. Some of you guys have busy schedules, but we really appreciate you guys being here today. Please help yourself to the food, the coffee, and mimosas. That's all for you guys, so please, if you didn't get any in the beginning, take some to go. I'm going to start off by introducing one person that's going to actually introduce someone else. This individual has been part of HealthFit since the beginning, for probably about 8 years now, since HealthFit started in 2015. This guy can be characterized as a wise tree, as you would say. Nowadays, he's earned the title of the hippest guy in HealthFit. He brings a lot of insight, he brings a lot of energy, he brings a lot of laughter. And if you've been a client of his, you know for a fact that his charisma and everything is just infectious, and he's a really good guy. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Alistair Buchanan.
Good morning, everybody. So, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate on the benefit of for the whole HealthFit team. We appreciate you coming because there's a lot of places you could have been this morning, and you chose to be here. So I want to start off by, and if you don't know who I am, again, Alistair, like Jesus said, I'm always on the other side for the most part. So sometimes if you don't see me, you might see me walking around, but you don't know my name. It's Alistair. And again, if you don't know who I am Alistair. I am the fitness coordinator. I am the fitness coordinator. Right? I know. That being said, the first question I want to ask everybody is, and this is not a trick question, but what business are we in? And you can just yell it out. HealthFit. Somebody said health. Please, come on. What business are we in? Caring? Anybody? Come on, it's a room full of people. Fitness. Life. And these are all really, really good guesses. But what we're really in is we're in a solutions business. We're in a storytelling business. That's the business that we're in. From the moment that somebody calls in and they speak to Grace or they speak to April, they're creating an experience. They've started. Or when they come up to the front desk and they meet Feliza or Al, and they've started to create that experience. Or going over onto the wellness side and they meet Haley because she's helping them with their HBOT or their red light. We're creating an experience. And then getting to our clinicians, Kelly, Daphne, Wayne, Cherie, Kimmy, G, Shayna, they're all creating an experience for you. And with this experience, what it does is it starts to help you tell a story. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help you tell your story. My story initially with HealthFit was I had met Jason 8 years ago. And I had a client, and he was lazy, and he says, listen, I don't want to do all of this stuff. Go see Jason, and you can learn all the exercises, and we can bring them back, and we'll do them. And I said, okay. So I walk in. He was in the studio down the street. And we started talking, and he starts asking me all of these questions. He goes, you know about this? Do you know about that? And I didn't know what he was talking about. I had no idea what he was talking about. So I went back to my client, and I said, I saw him. And he goes, well, how'd it go? And I said, well, I don't know. I didn't understand anything he said. I said, but I know it was impactful, but I didn't retain anything. So he says, well, go back, see him again, and have a list of questions that you want to ask him. So I sat down with my notebook, and he starts talking. And if anybody who knows Jay, he's just a dearth of knowledge, but his ability is to be able to make it so simple for you to understand. So I saw him every week for months, right? For months. And I went from a learning experience to growing into a friendship. Now, at that point, him and Kelly had decided that they were going to open up HealthFit. So they talked. And he said, well, hey, would you come on board with us as part of the team? I was working somewhere else, and I was kind of like, but I liked his vision. I liked him and Kelly's vision of what they were looking to do. So I dragged most of my clients over, and we came over here, and I remember the days that we were here, and it was just 3 of us or maybe 4 of us. We had this office. Kelly was still working out of that office. And that office next to it was where Jason was working. And I worked at the office way down at the end. And sometimes it was quiet in here. And we would look around and we would be like, are we ever gonna fill this place? Are we ever gonna get people in here? We knew, but it was empty, but we had a chance to grow and to learn and to get to know each other. And it was really, really important that we did that. So we were on board and we're humming along, and eventually Kelly and Jason start a family. And we start growing. We start getting more clinicians. We start getting more people. We start getting more front desk people. But we're learning, we're growing, we're figuring it out as we go. And then just as we're kind of turning the corner, Jason hits the jackpot. He gets hired by LAFC, which deservedly so because he's fantastic. But he had built enough of a foundation where he believed he could leave us and be able to do that. Now, he wasn't gone all the time, but we had to figure it out as we went, which is probably, in hindsight, one of the best things that probably ever happened, because we had to figure it out, and we did. But then COVID hit, and we weren't sure what we were gonna do. Like, a lot of businesses started going under. And we went from 5 days to 3 to 2. Then finally, we had a meeting and we were like, we're gonna shut down for a little bit. But we didn't know if we really didn't know if the doors were we were hopeful that the doors were gonna open again. And slowly but surely, we built up enough trust and structure with all of you, and people started coming back in, and we picked right back up again, and it was beautiful, and it was great, and we're growing. And now we're expanding. Now we've got like 3 or 4 clinicians. We've got plenty of front desk staff. We've got people that are answering the phones, and it's humming along. And then we start to realize, well, we're running out of space, which is a really great problem to have. So luckily, fortunately, unfortunately for Bertrand, but fortunate for us, we looked over at the space. No, the interesting story, and I'm going to wrap this up really quickly, but the interesting thing behind it is we looked at that space about a year or 2 prior, and what they were asking for the space was too much. So at the time that we went over, we were lucky enough or fortunate enough to get it. So he says to me, hey, listen, we're going to move you over on the other side. We're going to use these for the HBOTs. We're going to use these rooms, or we're going to expand. And we started to expand, and we started to grow. And that's where we are right now. We've expanded, we've grown, we've got a phenomenal team. I've just named off all of them. I hope I didn't miss anybody. But along the way, like I said, I developed an amazing friendship with Kelly, with Jason, and the 2 co-owners. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna stop talking and introduce my mentor and my friend, person who helped change my life, both of you. But Dr. Jason Hahn, please come on up.
All right, give Alistair a round of applause. Thank you for the nice words. I'll pay you later. It's interesting. He pretty much did the whole entire HealthFit history. I don't have to do it now. But when he was speaking, I was thinking about early on when we were trying to establish a relationship with Club Champion Gymnastics. And believe it or not, I don't like being on camera. I don't like speaking. Right, honey? I don't enjoy embarrassing you online. So when we were establishing this relationship with Club Champion, Alistair says to me, hey Jay, we gotta go over and talk to some people. I'm like, are you sure? And fast forward 8-9 years, look at this. Amazing. And whenever you look at personal development or any business, you really only achieve when you surround yourself with good people. You surround yourself with people that inspire you, that push you, can call you out when it's needed. And that's exactly what Alistair has done and everyone else in this company has done for Kelly and I. So thank you so much. So how is everyone feeling? You can do better than that. How's everyone feeling? And this is why we push so hard. Here's my little one, Mia. Maverick's playing with his Hot Wheels, so we're good to go. Okay, can you see me? Okay. Please raise your hand if you are a current or past HealthFit client. Thank you for being here. Raise your hand if you've never been here before. Really, really thank you for being here. So at some point today, feel free to talk to anyone around here that has been here and just talk about their experience. So for everyone here, raise your hand if you've ever dealt with some type of pain or discomfort. It should be everyone. Raise your hand if this pain or discomfort has had some type of impact on your quality of life. Raise your hand if it's okay if I share some amazing stories today from all of our HealthFit heroes. All right. So 3 yeses, that means it's a yes. I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone for being here. My wife and co-owner, Dr. Kelly, right there, my beautiful wife. My daughter, Mia, 7. Maverick, you want to stand up? Say hi, Maverick. 4 years old. He just graduated from preschool yesterday. My parents, Dr. Sinfong Han and Polin Han. My parents-in-law, in-law parents, is that how you say it? Roger Kakita, Annette Kakita. When we talk about the HealthFit family, it really is. And Dr. Kelly and I are very blessed to have our parents still around. And that's a big push behind why we wanted to create this place. But before that, has anyone ever watched one of my videos online? We're gonna start this off right. Gotta get my power pose. Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Han, CEO and co-founder of HealthFit Physical Therapy and Chiropractic. And today, we're gonna celebrate our heroes. So like Alistair said, it's been a little bit over 8 years, almost 9 years in September, since we've been in this space. And when Kelly and I moved here, and we actually started in a different gym. Kelly and I we had our own sole practices outside of a gym in North San Gabriel for about 3 years. We got married, and we decided to come here. So, like I said, you fast forward 8 years now, and it's kind of amazing to see what we've created. But also in reflection, it was tough. It was very, very hard. And when we created HealthFit, we had this vision. And I'm going to ask the question, why did we create HealthFit in the first place? Ultimately, we wanted to create a safe space, one that was worthy of taking care of our family, our parents. And I really wanted to introduce our parents today because that's exactly what we've created, and I'm super proud that we have done that. So with that, I want to share a story with all of you. Yes, I'm going to ask everyone to close your eyes. If you're standing, don't fall over. So close your eyes and imagine this. 3 weeks ago, while having a meeting in my office right next to me, the phone rings. I look at the caller ID, and it's my daughter's school. My heart absolutely sinks, and I automatically think, crap. I hope Mia is okay. I pick up the phone, and her teacher says to me, something happened. Mia fell off the monkey bars and landed on her wrist. She's pretty upset and crying, I think you should come and get her. I rush and grab my things and head on my way to pick her up. This entire time, even though I'm a medical professional, my body is trembling, hoping my baby girl is okay. Love you. When I arrive at the school, my heart drops, and the only thing that I could see was her sad little face, her tears, dirt, and just plain fear.
Nurture.
You were crying, love. I've never seen her in that much pain. Going into doctor mode, I do a quick exam, and I suspect a potential fracture, so I take her to urgent care. We show up at urgent care, and then we look. There's 10 to 15 miserable people sitting in the waiting area or outside, actually on the curb, because there's not enough seats. Instead of talking to someone at the front desk, they direct me to scan a QR code and fill out a form purely based on my insurance. I tried to ask the receptionist, how long is this going to take? She rudely says to me, I don't know. There are more than 10 people in front of you. We'll text you when it's time. After almost 2 hours, we finally get to see a doctor to confirm that we have a fracture. I could have told him that. But now we need to get a consult at Huntington Hospital at the ER because the fracture is displaced. We show up in Huntington. We literally have to walk through metal detectors and get searched by security to even get into the emergency room. We are surrounded by some extremely sick patients, some homeless, and even the police bringing someone in that they had just arrested. Oh, it was a depressing sight, and most of all, my daughter was in pain, she was scared, and exposed to an environment that definitely didn't make her feel any more better. Thank you. We were treated like a number. We couldn't really get any questions answered, and we were at the mercy of their time. The doctors were cold, they were too busy for us, and it felt like we didn't matter. Long story short, we waited till about 10 p.m. to get one extra x-ray and to make a decision to see the specialist the next day. Mia was exhausted and defeated. Go ahead, open your eyes, if they're still closed. Can any of you find yourself in that story? And you're probably asking why I'm sharing this story. I'm sharing this story because that is medical care. That is customer service. That is customer care to a T nowadays. The question was, why did we create HealthFit? We created HealthFit to not be that place. We understand that, and I was talking with Annalisa and her husband out there, and that we've all been there. We've all been there where either we've been hurt, one of our loved ones is hurt, and it's just plain scary. Who is there to trust? Everyone here has probably had a bad experience somewhere where you're treated like absolute. So when someone gets hurt or someone has a problem or someone is just scared, there's a lot of people that decide not to do anything. So essentially why we created HealthFit was to be that place where you felt comfortable asking a question. If we're not the ones that can solve the problem, we will do everything in our power to find a solution for you. Everyone that walks through our doors is scared, is skeptical, is just worrying if they're going to have to live with this the rest of your life. What we try to do here is create an environment that you're welcomed, that we will pay 110% attention to not only you, but your story. Because your story goes beyond your back pain. It goes beyond all of that. It really comes down to so many underlying factors beyond that. And that is why we created HealthFit. You want a place that will listen to you, help create a plan, and not get distracted when your son is playing with Hot Wheels in front of you. and to help you fully execute it along the entire journey. Wow, I lost all my papers. So, with that being said, is it okay if I introduce our HealthFit Heroes? And what I want you to do is, each one of these individuals has their unique story. When you listen to them, please try to find yourselves in the stories. Either it's yourself or someone that you love. And they really embody what it takes to take control of not only your body, but actually take control of your life. That's why I wanted to share each and every one of their stories. Hold on while I actually... It's not live unless this is happening like this. All right. See, my kids gave me the wrong order. All right, first, I want to introduce Amy Title. Everyone give her a round of applause. Amy hails from Toronto, Canada. She's a space historian and author of 3 different books, Fighting for Space, Apollo Pilot, and Breaking the Chains of Gravity. She's rather famous, and we're lucky to have her. And she's well known for her YouTube channel and her blog, Vintage Space, and numerous other social media channels. She's a longtime member of the HealthFit family. Everyone give her a round of applause. Next up, we have Albert Chu. He's a San Gabriel Valley native. He just finished up his master's degree in real estate development at USC. Congratulations. He's an avid traveler, climber, and adventurer. Longtime HealthFit family member. All right, we have Annalisa Betters. She's a Pasadena native, amazing wife, mother to Kennedy. For work, she works as a brain trainer and QEEG technician at Vital Brain Health, one of our trusted professionals. She's done, her and Dr. Licata and that entire team have done amazing work, not only for countless clients, but my mother-in-law. We'll talk about my mother-in-law if you go to the HBOT workshop. And thank you for everything that you do. Next up, we have James. James Lee. He has an entourage here. He's a San Gabriel Valley native. Our paths actually crossed years ago. He is an award-winning chef. He owns Mr. and Mrs. Creamery with his wife, which they specialize in delicious desserts, weddings, events. So you got to try his tofu cheesecake. It's amazing. He is a sneakerhead, and he loves his Kobe's, and he's been with us since 2023. Last but not least, we have Alistair Buchanan, the Alistair Buchanan. All right, we're going to go down the row. If each and every one of you can give you a little bit background on yourself, what brought you into HealthFit? Yeah, we'll start with that.
We're going down the line, I take it?
Yes.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. All right. Let me break my medical history down to like Cole's notes here. So when I was 7, I was a gymnast from when I was 3 years old. When I was 7, I was in a car accident. I have a fusion of my L3, L4, and the seatbelt tore through my abdominal wall, and I had abdominal surgery. When I was 10, I had an abdominal adhesion that required a second surgery. And when I was 12, the metal in my back for the fusion got infected, and I had to have that taken out. All of that was before I was 12, and I continued to be a competitive level gymnast. Then when I, was an adult and retired, because you retire from gymnastics when you're a teenager, I started doing weight training, and when I moved out here in 2014, I started doing Muay Thai because I wanted to learn how to hit things really hard. And that was great. And I was still weightlifting and stuff, but then one day I I was squatting at the gym, and at the time I was probably squatting about 120 pounds. So like that was pretty solid for me. I'm small. And my hip was just absolutely killing me. Like I couldn't get into a squat. So I took some of the weight off and I still couldn't do it. And I went down to just the bar and I couldn't do it. And I was like, this is not normal. Like I've had hip problems my whole life. I've had all the physio my whole life from just the accident and being a gymnast and surgeries. So I asked my Muay Thai coach, you said you know a physio. Who am I seeing? And it was Jason. Jason used to work in the same gym that my coach was working in. So I came to see Jason, and we needed to figure out whether or not it was like arthritis or whether it was muscular. So I went to my doctor, and I got an x-ray. And so the doctor looks at my x-ray. There's nothing on it. There's nothing wrong with my bones. And the doctor actually says to me, at the time, I should say, I couldn't lift my knee up to my hip. Like, I was a gymnast, and I suddenly can't, like, bend my knee up to my hip. And the doctor says to me, well, your flexibility is really good for someone your age. You should just be fine with that. And I was like, no, I want to kick things in the head still. So I took the x-ray to Jason, and I showed it my dad's doctor. I showed it to Dr. Dad, and they're all like, there's nothing wrong with your bones. And I'm like, cool, it's muscles. I can fix muscles. So I saw Jason probably once a week for like 2 years. And was able to move my leg around again. And that was really good. And he did all the painful things, like scraping the scar tissue. And when I wanted to start weightlifting again, I was too scared of hurting myself, and that's how I started training with Alistair. So I've been here since 2017, and I'm not leaving.
Hi everyone, my name is Albert Chu, and I'm a San Gabriel Valley native. I'm 26 years old, and I've been coming since about the same time as Amy, around 2017 or 2018. And I first came to start meeting with Alistair because a friend of mine, he had been seeing Alistair for a little bit for some personal training, and at the time, that was one of my main goals. I'd always just grown up as a chubby kid. I didn't really know that much about fitness. Classic like guy just getting into fitness. I wanted to both lose weight and gain muscle, which isn't very feasible. And so that's how I got introduced to HealthFit. At first it was mostly training, but as I was spending time with Alistair, we were noticing small things that were off about like my body positioning and stuff that was causing me issues that I didn't really take into account because I was a younger guy and I could just kind of make it work. But stuff like my pelvic positioning and my left shoulder hurting. When I was a kid, I used to play tennis, but I switched over to ping pong because my left shoulder was hurt during a car accident. And so for the longest time, I thought that the pains I was experiencing were the result of that injury. And when I described my shoulder injury to her, I distinctly remember her saying, it's been probably over a decade since you injured your shoulder like that. It really shouldn't be that causing the problem. And with time, after seeing her for several months, seeing her for several sessions, and working together with her and Alistair in conjunction with each other, it was really interesting to have my own mental framework around fitness and health change, and something that I was really scared to touch before, being my shoulder. I thought there was very little I could do about it, but with some specifics like PRI techniques that I had never heard of, or just simple movements and training here and there, I've been completely able to change my body and my relationship with how I move. And for someone who really enjoys rock climbing and like using my arms overhead, it was a complete game changer. It completely changed everything about how I engage in my life and my body. And so I really appreciate HealthFit for what they've been able to help me with.
Hi again, my name is Annalisa. So I think, if I were to say why I'm a HealthFit hero, actually has more recently to do with me, but more importantly to do with the people whom I trust to be under care here. If I know something is great, I have to tell everyone about it, and that is HealthFit. So as Dr. Hahn mentioned, I work at Vital Brain Health, and we do brain training there. And so if anyone's like, oh, this hurts, I'm like, you need to go to HealthFit. Or, I know many of you have mothers, and so as a mother, we are the last to take care of ourselves. So when my daughter was growing faster than her body could keep up, I instantly thought, oh, she needs to go to HealthFit. Like, I don't know what's going on. Thankfully, I don't have to know because I know whom I trust, and that is everyone here at HealthFit. So she was growing so quickly, and she's an athlete, and soccer was her love, but she'd be literally limping after games. And so she started seeing Dr. Cherie because I asked Dr. Hahn, hey, who should she see here? I know you're really busy. Ideally, I would love her to be under your care, but who do you trust? I trust everyone. Great. I trust that you trust everyone. So she's been under Dr. Cherie's care. She then, telling Dr. Hahn, back in July, fractured her heel ziplining in Kauai. Once we got back, we knew where she needed to continue under care, and not just so she could avoid pain pills, because that was a big one for our family, but so that she can be back to thriving. I have similarly to Amy, have a long, boring health history of just in hospital since I was 2 through 17. And I always like to say that emergency care kept me alive, but integrative health allows me to thrive the day-to-day now. And HealthFit is a huge part of that. So whether it's my mother or my daughter or my husband, who's had over 30 concussions, from snowboarding to hitting his head on the kitchen cabinet and blacking out, I knew where to go. I knew that even okay, we now have a HBOT at our home because of the work and the healing that has taken place. As Alistair mentioned, this is a place of solutions. We're an active family. So whether it's climbing mountains or zip lining or running or doing CrossFit in our home gym, we need to be able to sustain that level of activity to keep the level of sanity that we would like to maintain. And so all scattered, but the point is that I trust this place, and I know the quality of care, whether it's in the HBOT, helping my mom who's severely claustrophobic feel safe and feel that she can come there and be okay, and Haley's just a click of the walkie-talkie away to let her know that you're okay and you're doing well and this is for a purpose. Or if it's any of the physicians, or clinicians, excuse me, I know that they're going to be under the best care. So I obnoxiously tell everyone about HealthFit because I believe in what they do here. And then more recently, now that, my daughter's under care and she's thriving, my husband's under care and he's thriving, my mom, the people who are the closest to me, whom I love and care, are thriving. Well, I guess it's time to take care of me. And so I actually had gone to the dentist and they fixed a very minimal cavity, and I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. And I texted Dr. Cherie and I was like, can you help? And she saw me the next day, and I've been in pretty much every week since. And clearly, I can't stop talking and eating. So, that's me. We're local to Pasadena, and we get to just tell all of our people, whether they're here or I had a cousin who came down from Seattle, and I said, no, you need to see Dr. Cherie because I trust her and she's going to point you in the right direction, even though you're 2 states away. And that's what you get when you walk through these doors. You're greeted with people who are intentional. As Dr. Hahn mentioned, Dr. Licata is very particular with the people that and the teams that he works with, because he also has experienced what I'm sure every one of us have in the medical field, as we'll call it. And, we want, from the moment you walk in, to be seen, to be known, to remember your name. You're not just to sign in. We know who you are. We know your family. And that's what HealthFit is. I'm like, I have to go see Dr. Cherie. It's okay if Kennedy sits at the couch because I can trust the people at the front door. or the front desk, excuse me. So that's a bit of my story and why I come to HealthFit every week. I say, send my paycheck to HealthFit because that's where it's going. And will continue, like Amy, to be here. So thank you guys for coming, and the new people. Talk to Lisa.
Hi, my name is James.
Yes.
I'm gonna keep my story short. So I basically tore my Achilles last year, April 12th, and it was my left Achilles. And after getting out of the cast and the boot, the doctor was great, gave me some directions to start PT, and then basically I was in the system. They kept postponing my appointments, things like that. When my appointment was coming up, I think about a week or two away, they tell me that, hey, you know what? The PT that we have assigned for you, he's changing his schedule, so he can't see you until September. And this was like June, July. And then I'm like, wait, hold on a second. So what am I supposed to do for 3 months? So thankfully for Facebook, I've always had Jason on as a friend. So I messaged him, I think on a Friday. And before going to a wedding that I was supposed to work, I was like, hey man, so this is the situation. I need help. Like, I want to get better now. I don't want to wait till September. So he's like, cool, give me a little bit. And then I think within 30 minutes, an hour, he had Haley call me, and then and then I got set up with Dr. Wayne, who's been working on me ever since. And so I'm not a number, I guess. I'm not part of that system. I've been coming, I really want to get better really quick. So even at the beginning, they're like, oh, you can come in once a week. I'm like, no, I want to come in 2 times a week. I need to get back to life. And then, so I've been coming here basically 2 times a week for the past year, and I've been better. And then starting February, I started, doing what I want to do, or what I had liked to do. I started playing tennis. So I have a group of tennis buddies that came over here to, I guess, support me, be on this panel, or maybe ask silly questions later. But yeah, HealthFit has been definitely something where I appreciate, and I feel like I'm part of the family. And every week when I come, I document my recovery journey, and I post it on my Instagram, and they repost it on their Instagram. So if you follow their Instagram, you probably see me some of the videos that they repost and stuff like that. So yeah, again, thank you to Jason, Dr. Wayne, and the entire team over here. Even when there's times where I think like Dr. Wayne was away, they always had somebody that could take over, and it feels like they pick up right where we left off. It's not like, oh, you're just somebody else or something like that. So I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Now, since Alistair already introduced himself, now it's time for a joke. A joke. Just kidding. Alistair's been here for a long time, and you've seen, it's okay. He's seen so many transformations in not only his clients, but everyone across the board. Alistair, if you were gonna give me 1 or 2 big points, why would you say that our clients get better here versus other places? 2 points.
I'd have to say, essentially, everybody in this room knows that we care. We had a conversation about an hour ago. It doesn't matter how much you know. If people can feel if you care. They know that if you're there for the money grab, or they intentionally understand that you have their best interest at heart. So that's the first thing. That's not even talking about people's skill sets. just that feeling. And once you know that somebody cares, you relax. You're able to take a breath and feel like you've got some perspective. Because, and again, the outcome, we don't know. We really don't know what the outcome is going to be. We're doing our best. But you know the person has at least your best interest at heart, right? So that'd be the first thing. The second thing, which a lot of people focus on, is actually the skill level. And again, I've been here for since the beginning, and this is not to besmirch anybody that's passed through these doors before, but this team, and so I didn't know I was going to be a HealthFit hero. I didn't know. That's right. I know. So if anybody who does know me know that last Friday I had hip replacement surgery on my right hip, and it's interesting to be on this side of the fence because I'm used to seeing people. I'm used to working with the clinicians, to helping people get back, like all these folks up here. And for the first time, I was on the other side. So I had hip replacement surgery last Friday. So if anybody's noticed me walking around and I don't have a walker, I don't have a cane, it's because the information, and again, here's the thing, we've got to make a really clear distinction, because you can work with people and not know them. And we all know this, because we've all intuitively been in those situations where you work with somebody, but you're like, I wouldn't trust them. I wouldn't have them make me something to eat, or so we know this, right? We laugh because we know it's true. So being on the other side, and the week after my surgery, I saw almost every clinician, really, really saw them. And it opened my eyes because I'm like, they're really good. I mean, I knew that they were good, but I'm like, they're really, really good. And they treated me as if I walked through the door. Even though I know that we've known each other and I know that they care, I could still feel that love. So those are the two things that probably stand out most for me.
You bring up an interesting point. Me and you had that conversation in your office, and again, he's a professional that sees clients on a daily basis, motivates them, and there are certain situations in life where when life hits you in the face, right? He has surgery. He's a little bit down. He's a little bit emotional. He doesn't have a direction. And that happens to every one of us. And can you talk a little bit about that? Just, again, now he's on the other side. What does it feel like to be that person that was fully active, right? Heather, this guy was lifting and doing all these things with you 2 weeks ago. And then he goes from being on a surgical table, hammering this big old total hip replacement into him, to not being Alistair. He's kind of reclined to this place that even though he's not, but he feels hopeless, worried. Am I going to get better? And this is coming from someone that works with people on a daily basis. What I'm trying to say is this happens to each and every one of us, professional or not. Can you talk a little bit about those feelings that you had?
So I can't imagine. My hip has been killing me for a few years, and there's this idea that people who work in the field, that we're immune from everything else that everyone else feels. We don't. It's not a conceit. It's not an arrogance. It's just we just think that it doesn't impact us because we already know. We know how to fix it. So when we have this idea that we know how to fix it, we tend to let it linger a little bit longer. We don't address it. And I finally got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. Like I never really call out. But I literally was just, I couldn't take it. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna address it. And here's the thing that's interesting about that. We all do that. We all say, with whatever it is, sometimes we say, it's fine, it's not that bad. I'm okay, it's not that bad. And then we have to get to a point where we're like literally in the dirt, where we're dragging, for us to say, I want to do something about it. And I found myself in that place, and I wasn't used to being there. I was used to being on the other side saying, we can do this, we're going to move forward, I'm proud of you, I like that you made that decision, and we're going to be. But I had to take my own advice. And it was hard. It was very, very hard for me. And I can speak to that now. So I have more of an understanding. I have more compassion. I have more empathy for everything that you're going through, because I was on that side too. I got down, like the last week that I'd been out, I was itching to get back in, because I was like, I don't know, am I gonna be the same? How am I gonna, is my leg gonna give out? Am I gonna be able to put a plate on? I had all of these things, and that's why, Jason and I, we had a talk last week, because I found myself being in that place, and I said, well, this is how everyone else feels, so I understand. And that's the key, when you walk into a place and know that everyone understands, at least to a point, they understand, or they're trying to, or at least they care about what direction that you're going to be going in.
James, can you talk a little bit about what it felt like when you got hurt? You're an active guy.
Okay.
What did it feel like when all of your activity was taken away from you? And then now that you're back with your buddies, how does it feel now that you're back?
So I would say, like, prior to getting the Achilles rupture, I was active, but I wasn't in shape. I was like playing basketball like once a week, and then just telling myself, yeah, I'm still in shape. I'm not in shape. I was way out of shape. And then just one night when the Achilles just snapped, I think that's when during the journey you start appreciating, like, hey, I was telling myself, as long as I can walk, I'm good. Because the doctor was telling me, like, yeah, you could do surgery, you don't have to do surgery, and these are the pros and cons. And he told me, like, surgery and non-surgical, the difference was about, according to the literatures at the time, was about 5%. I'll take it, no surgery then. Don't cut me. I don't want to be cut. And then, so I went the non-surgical route, and during the course of recovery and doing PT with Wayne and being here, I was like thinking, no, I want to get back to things that I want to do. So I think I started playing tennis again, February, with most of the people over there. And we play at 4:30 a.m. So I had to change, like, my lifestyle. I normally go to bed at 2 a.m. and now I have to wake up at 3:30 to make it out there at 4:30 to play tennis with these people at Arcadia. And if any of you guys are interested, come out. We're there 4:30 to 6:30 almost every day. So then I started playing tennis again, and I think, like, you really appreciate it once you kind of feel like you lost it, And so during the time of recovery, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm getting back. I'm getting into something I like doing, and getting back into my tennis shape, I guess. And then I lost a little bit of weight along the way, so that was great. So I feel like I'm in better shape now than I was pre-injury. So that's yeah.
Well, congratulations. Less desserts. Annalisa, you have a lot of experience and camaraderie with everyone here, the entire staff. What is having that support, or if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the staff and the team here and what that means for you, your family, everything moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. As I had mentioned, it's not just myself, but a lot of people who come here because of the team. And that's the difference. My mother is Hispanic, and she is very wonderful and very stubborn. And but she, like Alistair said, will wait a long time and suffer for a while before she steps into taking care of herself. So I removed that for her, and I called up Haley and said, hey, we need to schedule my mom for a session. She'll be there at this time. And I text her. And Haley, not just, oh, I'm busy. If she misses the call, she'll call me right back. And then the follow-up of what's going on. Is she okay? It's that extra intention. When you walk in, the eye contact, hey, you genuinely feel like they are happy that you're walking through the door. Cherie, Cherie's not even here, guys. She's in Canada right now. And she texted me this morning asking about how everyone was doing. She saw my cousin once, and she asked how he was doing, if he had followed up with any of the people that she had connected him with. Wayne, he's here and comes in, whether I'm in session. I love having the door open, because when I see Dr. Cherie and the whole crew come in, I get to capture what's going on in this place. And they ask how I'm doing, what we're doing. And they remember it's not just like, okay, Jason's told the team to do a checklist of things and ask. It's genuine. It is genuine. There's follow-up. There's, oh, hey, it's summertime, and we know this at our office. In summer, we get busy. We prioritize vacation. We prioritize, a lot of other things. And then, August comes around and we're in pain and we're like, what's going on? I'm hopeless. But the HealthFit team is intentional, and they won't let it go. And where other places it may feel like a bottom line, right? And it's like any business, they need to be a healthy business that can thrive and support each person that's here. But more so, they're following up because they don't want you to fall off and be in a worse place. So that starts with everyone. I answer, half the time I laugh because they know it's me, and then they are like, dang it, I did the whole HealthFit spiel when you answered the phone, because I'm either calling for a patient or, for one of my family members. Daphne has been, both here and at our office. And, in walking by, I always give myself at least 20 minutes extra to the next thing I have to do, because I know there's going to be a conversation that I have with a team member about how's Kennedy, because they know when I've walked through the doors, like, heartbroken because my daughter's weeping and screaming in the middle of the night, desperate for healing. Like, how's she doing? Dude, she just played co-ed soccer and was the only girl on the team. And like, that brought my giant husband to tears, and every team member here celebrates that. They celebrate the victories, but they sit in the hurt. They don't minimize that. They don't minimize the suffering. They don't minimize where you are. They see it, and they know, like, okay, well, we're going to take each step, and just the showing up. Some days it feels great and there's progress, and other days you just showed up, and that's good. And so that whomever you see, as you mentioned, there were times where we had to see other physicians and other clinicians and other people. You're in good hands. And so what is the experience? You feel like a part of that's the key, a healthy family when you walk in through the door. Not just a HealthFit family, but a family that thrives and encourages and, really supports one another and the wellness of each person that walks through the door. Whether it's here or sending them to the place that they need, you can trust that your well-being is their focus point. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Albert, you've been with us for a while now, and you're very proactive with your health. How would you describe, what makes you tick? Why do you take the extra step to be your best self? And then what would you say to someone that doesn't necessarily have that mentality and feels the condition that they're in at that time, it is what it is? And I think Alistair kind of alluded to it. So tell us a little bit about your mentality, and what would you say to someone that doesn't feel there's anything better out there?
I think that in terms of my own mentality, to make sure that my body is basically doing as well as it can, it comes a lot from being younger and not being able to do a lot of stuff, I was, I think similar to James, like you were mentioning that you were always moving, but you weren't necessarily the most fit. I resonated with that a lot. I played a lot of sports as a kid, but I wasn't the most fit by any means. In high school, I was like consistently the bottom 5 of the school mile, so that wasn't great. But as time went on, I started discovering things I was interested in. Maybe about 2 years into working out with Alistair, I started getting into rock climbing, and that was really fascinating to see how my interest changed, how Alistair was able to really adjust the programming for that and make it very specific to what I was interested in, and how training could essentially be kind of proactive, like you were saying, Dr. Jason, in terms of my own goals. And in terms of trying to take care of myself over time, I think that I've noticed so many small things that are not wrong, but like off about my movement or my body while I'm doing things. Like, again, when I first came and started working out with Alistair, I had a lot of lower back pain, which didn't make sense to me. I was like 18 or 19, maybe, definitely not in the age range where back pain is very common. And he showed that like my pelvic tilt and my positioning there, if I changed that, that would completely change everything. And I think that, again, with Shayna as well, her showing me how to change my shoulder positioning was a huge proactive move in terms of making sure that my pain wouldn't inhibit me from the things I'm passionate about. In terms of drive, I think that it comes from just my own interest and my own passion for the things I care about. But in terms of incorporating health and wellness and that aspect of things into it, the HealthFit team honestly has educated me a lot, and I feel like I learned a lot of that from HealthFit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Last question for Amy. What would life be like if you never found us?
Terrible. Like,
Good answer.
just all across the board terrible. I think at this point I've seen every doctor here except Wayne. For like, so I'll get hurt again and I'll come to you. Don't worry about it. Like, so many things. Like, you know, when you have had a bunch of surgery and you're active, like, your body is a chain. We all know that song about the bones being connected, right? So like, you fix one thing, but something else shows up because of imbalances. I know this because I had an ankle injury when I was a gymnast, and I injured the other ankle because I was favoring the good ankle. So I've had things pop up. My boyfriend and I just bought a house, and we painted it, and my hands were killing me, so Dr. G fixed my hand. Like, everything. Most often, I see him twice a week, is every time I walk in, he looks at me, and he asks, "What way are we?" And he can also read my mood before I know how I feel, and it's really, really weird, because he can tell that, like, I'm preoccupied with, like, house stuff or work stuff, or I have, like, good energy, or I'm not feeling strong, and he can tailor that to me so that I know that, you know, when you're lifting weights and you're kind of mentally checked out, you can hurt yourself. He makes sure that he's not putting me in a situation where I can get hurt. And I just feel like I have such better overall health and overall care now that, like, you know, I would have ended up somewhere else and it wouldn't have been very good, and I might have, like, fixed the hip, but, you know, not developed a relationship that's kept me here for 8 years. And I feel like I need to say this. I don't know if you know this, but when my boyfriend and I were house hunting, because I was in Pasadena for 10 years, I told our realty agent we're going from Glendale to Monrovia because I have to be able to come here. I literally live where I do so that I could still come here twice a week, because I was like, I'm not finding someplace else, and I'm not driving an hour twice a week. No. So yeah, we bought a house based on proximity to here, which sounds terrible, but you know what? It was worth it. Yeah. True story.
Can we give our entire HealthFit Heroes panel a round of applause? This is
proof on what it takes to live an exceptional life. It takes, but like I said, and we had this meeting the other day. Sometimes we want to compare ourselves to perfect. But the reality is, if you compare yourself to perfect, you're going to fail. Because there's no such thing as perfect. But what each and every one of us, either our HealthFit heroes or everyone on this team, every staff member on this team, is comparing themselves to the best version of themselves. So these 5 individuals are just a snippet of what happens through these doors. And I talk to Jesus, I talk to my wife all the time about this, that when I was at LAFC for 6+ seasons, I'd come in and really just do like the admin work, the managerial work. And then since I've been back starting in March, I've had the opportunity to talk to more clients. We were doing testimonials the other day and just sitting and hearing the stories. And it makes Kelly and I so incredibly proud of all the stories, the team. And I will say this to every team member that's here. Don't get me wrong, you guys are very skilled at what you do. You're professional. You're good physical therapists, you're good chiropractors, you're good HBOT specialists. But what helps us stand apart, that each and every team member here is a good person, first and foremost. Because technical skills will only get you so far. If your mindset's in the right place, and we're here for the ultimate enhancement of your individual health, we'll help each other along to get there. So with that being said, one more round of applause for our HealthFit heroes. I encourage each and every one of you, if you haven't been here before, talk to them about their story. If one of our HealthFit team members, you have an HF, it's HealthFit, but also a Han family. If you want to, I just came up with that. Thank you. I just came up with that, actually. I did HBOT before this, so it's a little bit clear. So in about Wayne first? Okay. In 10 minutes, so grab some food, some refreshments. In 10 minutes on the other side, we're going to be doing a back pain workshop with Dr. Wayne Wu. And after that, so that's at 10:45 to 11:15. At 11:15 to 11:45, Haley, our HBOT coordinator, and myself will be doing a hyperbaric oxygen therapy workshop. So please join us. Thank you again. Have some food, have some drinks, have as many mimosas as you would like. No one will judge you, and I'll drink with you. All right, thank you very much. Hey, if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification for our latest tips coming to you every week. Share this video with your family and friends. It might just make their day a little bit better. I'll see you soon.